Ruchem Aboim B'Shem Hashem, B'Shem Irgin Shir Torah. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's shir from Rabbi Yakov Zev Smith, Shlita, on the morning on Netilas Yodayim. Dinei Birchas on Netilas Yodayim Baboiker. Today's shir is dedicated to the Nishmas of Shmuel ben Reuven, Tzchon Avrocha, father of our devoted board members, Reuven and Moshe Wolf, Sheichu. Have a great schus sponsoring a shir call Irgin Shir Torah at 718-851-8651 or email ist@yeshivanet.com. Harav Smith.
A few weeks ago, I had to travel out of town for a Dvar Mitzvah, and I was up before 4 o'clock, which is not typical for me at least. And we had a number of shilas about eating before davening, and many different halachas as come up when you're up early in the morning. So I decided I wanted to vote a share for it, and I guess we called it at the time the early morning questions. So I started to look into the sugya, and I began with the question of Netilas Yodayim. Let's say I'm up at 4 o'clock. Do I make the bracha Netilas Yodayim 4 o'clock, or when I daven, when I get to my destination at 8 o'clock? And I realized that this is not just negayah to me. This is negayah to every single yid, every single morning. Let's talk about the Heilig Elohim Dei Torah that wake up taka every morning early. So again, you wake up 5, 6 o'clock and you first daven 7:38. When do you say Netilas Yodayim? The truth is, it's negayah to every person if he doesn't learn. He wakes up, he washes the negavasa, goes to the bathroom again, then washes again. When do you make it Netilas Yodayim? Do you make it at home when you wash your hands, like every other birchas hamitzvah right away? Do you wait till you get to shul, which sounds a little funny at first glance? You made the mitzvah at home, and you make the bracha in shul? I mean, do we shake lulav at home and make the bracha in shul? And then I realized there's probably 20 plus shilas just about the bracha of Netilas Yodayim. So I have to ask you apology. I'm not going to do some of the questions that we had on the tzad. I thought that would be a general sugya, but today we'll talk about the Netilas Yodayim sugya, and then a different time we'll devote it to the other shilas. But the truth is, as our nature, our derech always is, this is a fascinating sugya, because the 20 plus shilas are really totally in a simple question. And that is, what is the nature of the bracha of Netilas Yodayim? In other words, we have birchas ha-mitzvahs, like I said, Netilas Lula, for example. No one would think of doing the mitzvah now and making the bracha later. So if the bracha of Netilas Yodayim is a birchas ha-mitzvah like it sounds, I mean, Asher Kedishanu b'mitzvahisa v'tzivanu certainly indicates it's a birchas ha-mitzvahs. So how could you even think that you make the bracha later? I mean, just the birchas Netilas Yodayim for bread. No one washes at home and makes the bracha in shul. You wash and make the bracha at the same time. Or maybe for some reason that Netilas Yodayim is more like a birchas haidah. And just like we make the birchas haidah, what we call birchas hashacha, we don't make the shasali katzak when I put on my shoes. We do it later. So this is a simple question, which, as we'll see, really gives us the information to all of our shilas today. But the truth is, in seichel, there's no doubt about it, it's a birchas ha-mitzvah. But poik chazim ayam b'davar, many people make it in shul, and the poisek achrein, which is the siddur, puts it together with the other birchas hashacha. But once we clarify what it is, the rest of the question will be, like we always say, zil basatayma. So the emphasis is the source of the bracha Netilas Yodayim for in the morning is in brachas of Samach Hamad Beis. But listen to the way the Gemara seems to complicate matters further. Zok the Gemara, a whole seder, when you wake up in the morning, you say Olakai Neshama. Now, they didn't make it smucha to Ashiyat, so that's a different sugya. Okay. When you heard the rooster crow, you make nice nasechvi. And the Gemara goes on to say 12 brachas that you say. Amongst them, when you put on tzitzis, you make the bracha on tzitzis. You put on tefillin, bracha on tefillin. Kimasha yadei, and then when you wash your hands, after saying 12 brachas, when you wash your hands, you say Asher Kedishanu b'mitzvahanu al Netilas Yodayim. In their days, they made every birchas hashacha when it happened. When you put on your shoes, you made shasli katzok, and you open your eyes, pekei achivrim. But more so for us, when did they make Netilas Yodayim? When they washed their hands, they made Netilas Yodayim. So here we see an introduction to Netilas Yodayim bracha. It's very clear. When is it said? Right after you wash. But there's another Gemara that's also really a different reason for Netilas Yodayim. And that is Shabbos Kuf Ches Amud Beis, where the Gemara says a stern warning: don't touch anything of importance before you wash negavas. The Gemara says if you do, it's a terrible sakana. Why? Zok Rashi, because Ruach Ra Shar Al Yadayim. There's a Ruach Ra that comes after the night. When the night changed to day, there's a Ruach Ra, and that could do great damage. Zok the Gemara, this Ruach Ra is a Bas Chayrin, Umakpedes Ad Sheyechayitz Yadav Gimel Pamim. Now let me be very clear. There is a Ruach Ra which the Gemara recognizes, that the Gemara calls a Bas Chayrin, like we call it in English a prima donna, a princess. This Ruach Ra does not go away so easily. You have to wash 3 times, alternate. Okay, Gemara doesn't mention Keli, but that's what we do. Use a Keli 3 times, and not 3 times on the right, 3 on the left. Alternate right and left. That's the Ruach Ra of the morning. The Beis Yosef in Siman Dalid, we'll soon see in Shulchan Aruch as well, quotes a Zoya about a different Ruach Ra in the morning, and that is after sleeping a whole night, where a person experiences 1/60th of Misa, like the Gemara says. So now he has a shtickle of a Ruach Ra of Misa. So you have to wash for that as well. So the reason why we wash in the morning, the Gemara has one reason, we'll soon see what that is. And then we have 2 different Ruchais Ra'is, Gemara and Zoya. Now the reason of the Gemara's Ruach Ra is in Shulchan Aruch, Siman Dalet, Siv Beis, and Siv Gimel, where the Gemara says you make sure to wash 3 times. And also don't touch anything before you wash. In Siv Ches Tes Yud and Yud Aleph, you'll see the Shulchan Aruch quotes the Zoya's reason of Ruach Ra of sleep, of Misa, and has halachas appropriately for that as well. But now we really are confused. How could you make 12 brachas before you wash in the morning? So here we come to the Yesod of today, and that's the Rosh in the back of the Gemara Perek Tes, Siman Chav Gimel, and it's also in the Chuvas in the beginning of Klal Dalid. And since it's so important, I read the Lashon. Zok the Gemara, Zok the Rosh. Why does the Gemara say when you wash your hands, you have to, when you wake up, you have to wash your hands? The Metziah says, the fact is, even if you're sleeping, but subconsciously you're moving, and the if he might touch a makam b'chusa when he's sleeping, tiknu bracha kaidem sheyikar krishma v'yispalel. In other words, when a person sleeps, we have to assume his hands are no longer clean in the morning. And since he's about to daven to the Rebbeinu Shalayla, he's about to be oimid lefnei HaMelech v'krishma and Shemayin Esra, and don't forget there's a chiyuv of hika on the krasa lekecha Yisrael. So we have to have a chiyuv netila to prepare for davening. In other words, it's a built-in problem. You sleep at night, Yodayim Askani, especially those days they slept the pashas without clothing. Of course they covered themselves, but there was a very real chashash that he touched the makam b'chusa. So since you want to daven in the morning and you come after a night's sleep that your hands become halachically unclean, you had better wash your hands, and that's why there's a bracha on it. Chazal and b'chayiv, a definite chiyuv netila b'bracha as achana for davening. In other words, it's not the morning per se. It's the morning that leads into davening. You'll say, so wait a second. If it's because of an achana for davening, let's say I go to the Beis HaKisi before Mincha, I should also wash until Shadayim, besides Ashiyatza. I'm preparing for Mincha. If you said that, Baruch Shekivanta. Zok the Rosh, the same Rosh, Umizeh Yesh Lilmoid, Dehu Adin Tfilas Mincha, Utfilas Arvis. If he went to the Beis HaKisi and he has a chiyuv netila, he washes, makes it till Shadayim, and then Ashiyatza. In other words, like the Rosh, the Til Yodayim is an achana for tefillah. And there shouldn't be a chiddush. The Rambam in 2 places, in Hilchos Tefillah, Perek Daled Beis, and Brachas Vav Beis, paskins, you wash 3 times a day with a bracha. In fact, the Rambam holds if you daven without washing your hands, you're not yoitz the davening. Okay, Baruch Hashem, we don't paskin that way, but people should realize it's not a minig. Washing for davening is a chiyuv. The Goyin in Ma'aseh in Siman Gimel, he washed all three tefillas with a bracha. So this is the shita of the Rosh. The chiyuv, the til in the morning is simply to prepare for davening. Now, Lamaisa, we can understand the minig in the Gemara. Because Avada, as the Rashba in a tshuva, very Yisaitik tshuva, Mechelik Aleph Kufnun Gimel, points out, Avada, when they woke up, if they had taka hands that were unclean, they would have to clean them before making brachas. But for that, Midi de Menaki is good enough. You could rub it in the cloth that we spoke about not so long ago. If you clean your hands without water, is also good. So they woke up, and they cleaned their hands without an atila. But when it came to davening, Lifnei HaMelech, you have a chiyuv d'Rabbanan to wash with a bracha. What about Ruach Ra? There are two Ruchais Ra'is. So that is the easiest to deal with. Because this is the uniqueness of Ruach Ra. Mitzad Echad, it's a Bas Melech, it doesn't go away easily. You don't play around with Ruach Ra. You have to wash 3 times, with a Keli alternately. But says the Mishnah Berurah in Siman Al-Sif Cotton Bays, the Ruach Ra, as bad as it is not ma'akiv. Mishnah Berurah discusses a case where a person woke up in the morning after a night's sleep and he has no water. There's no water. So the Mishnah Berurah do midi de menaki and chalila to mevatel Torah for that. Go learn. This Ruach Ra. Ruach does not go off with midi de menaki, but Ruach is not ma'akiv. Get rid of it. It's not good. Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your nose or whatever, any open part of the body. But it's not ma'akiv. So here we see a very clear picture of our sugya. The Shulchan Aruch and Siman Dal Tziv Chav Gimel puts it beautifully. Leitiknu Netilas Yodayim el Krishma Tefila. Aval Bercha Shachris, you could make before Netila as long as you did meet the Menaki. So here we have a great understanding of the Netilas Yodayim in the morning. It's not the morning per se, it's the morning that brings dirty hands, and since you want to daven, you have to wash the Netilas Yodayim with a bracha. So basically, I'm going to say it's a Berchas HaMitzvah as a Netila for davening. However, there's a different reason, a different shot, a very different shot, and that's the Rashba in Chelik Aleph Kuf Tzadik Aleph. Someone asked the Rashba a very optimistic question. You make a Netilas Yodayim whenever you eat bread. Why do you say it punkt in the morning before Shachris? And note, the Rashba says you only say it before Shachris. Why? Zok the Rashba, you'll ask me why? And I quote his Heilig Lashon, Fi b'shacha onu nasa and kibirya chadasha. After a night's sleep, we have a new lease on life, chadashim lavkayim rabba emunasecha. V'tzvichen anu lahoides la yizbarach al shebaranu lechvaydai l'sharsai levarach b'shmai. In other words, and the Rashba spells it out, al davaz et tiknu b'shach kol oisim brachas anu mevarachim b'chol baika. Zok the Rashba, get ready for this. It's not a Berchas HaMitzvah. It's a Berchas Shevach Vayda. It's like Shlayasani Goy. We make that bracha every morning. We make this bracha every morning that we're thankful that we're alive, a new lease on life, and we're about to go daven. And please note, the Rashba also connects it to davening. Because we're going to do an Avodah, not in the Beis HaMikdash, in our Beis Medrash, and we have to thank Hashem for the opportunity, another day in Avodas Hashem. So the Rashba is saying that it's a day, a new day, that's Mechayim Berchos Hoida. Like the Rashba, there's no Havamin in the world to make by Mincha Ma'ariv. Not a din of davening. It's a new day, and gradually connected to Shachris. So in other words, to put it bluntly, like the Rosh, it's a Berchas HaMitzvah for davening, and could be Mincha Ma'ariv as well. And like the Rashba, it's a Berchas Haidah for the new day. Now, again, like the Rashba, it has a connection to davening. It's a Berchas Haidah that we're able to start a new day, but it only for once a day. Once a day is enough. We'll soon see the Chayodam, the Rav in Sivav, the Achashochan and Sivav, all spell out like the Rashba. It's also connected to davening. But it's not for every davening, it's the morning, we connected to davening. We're thankful that we're able to spend another day. And the Mishnah Berurah in Sif Kot and Aleph puts this clearly. So now that we have this basic two Yesodis, Rosh versus Rashba, let's apply it Lamaisa, and hope you enjoyed as much as I did to see how it's all Zil Basatayma. First of all, I'll ask you a simple question. We have Machlokes Rishonim. Who do we paskin like? The Rosh or the Rashba? So we know the answer. Poik Chazi, Zil Basatayma. Does anybody here make a bracha, unless you're a Gronik? Anybody here make a bracha Mincha Ma'ariv? Zok the Magen Avram Siv in our Simon Dal Siv Kot and Aleph, from the fact that we don't make a bracha by Mincha and Ma'ariv, is it right we go like the Rashba and not like the Rosh? Now, Lamaisa, the Aruch HaShulchan says, I don't understand. Who said it has to be machlokes? Why can it be they're both true? They're different angles. The Aruch HaShulchan goes to the extent that it's not a machlokes even. Now, the Mishnah Berurah does seem to say it's a machlokes, and we paskin like the Rashba, but on Utoivsim Kishtei HaTaimim L'chumra, we do try to satisfy the Rosh as well. So whether it's both are true or we try to satisfy both, but this is our approach now. We have two reasons. Rosh is Birchas HaMitzvah, the Rashba Birchas Haidah. We definitely try to satisfy both, and maybe it's not a machlokes in the first place. And Taka Shulchan Aruch in two places mentions this bracha, in Siman Dalet Sif Aleph and Memvav Aleph, and both come out the same lashon. Kisheyitel Yodav Yevorich Al Netilas Yodayim. Now, next question is, when is the right time to make this bracha every morning? Now, let me give you three choices. And again, we have to think objectively. Objectively, not what we do, but what we should be doing. So let me explain. The right time to do it would be right after you wash negavas. That's your negavas. And the only problem with that is, if you don't have a guf naki, you can't make a bracha then. But in those days, and you'll see that klar, when they washed, they taka made the bracha right away. Either maybe they ate less, slept less, or both. But bekitza, it's very yitach, and a person that sleeps a short amount wakes up in the morning, doesn't have to go to the bathroom. So definitely the right time to do it is right after negavasa. But lemaisa, we do wake up, we have to go to the basic kisei. We can't make any bracha. Don't forget, guf sheinaki does not allow any bracha. So then what's the next choice? Makes sense. After you come out of the bathroom and you're all dressed, your hands now, you wash your hands, like we say, fashiyotza, so to speak. But that should be the right time to make the Netilas Yodayim also. Because that's your, second half of the Netilas Yodayim. Or maybe, like many people do in the shul. Now, in the shul could be, you drive to shul, you walk to shul, but there's definitely some hefsek. And especially if you learn 2 hours at whatever time you have, how could you make it in shul? So the question is, so what is the right time to make this bracha? So the answer, as we're going to say after every question, is zil basatayim. Like the Rosh, you have no option. It's a regular birchas ha-mitzvahs. You do the mitzvah and make the bracha. We'll soon see you should really make it oivel asiyasan before you wash. But that we can't do because we have hands that are not clean. But after you wash, and we'll soon see the way the Rabbeinu Yoina says in our Gemara, with the hands that are still wet, so it's still oivel asiyasan, make the bracha right then and there. Don't wait till you go to shul, don't wait till you put on tefillin, right then and there. But then again, like the Rashba, we have much leeway. The Rashba says the Birchas Haidah. And just like we don't make the bracha on shul until we get to shul, we could do it in shul as well. So no doubt about it. The Lashon HaGemara ki Moshe Yodei, it seemed like you make the bracha right after you wash. The Kolbai in Siman Beis says this as well, one of the Rishonim. But he quotes a Tashbitz Katan, that the minig is to wait until you get to shul. Evidently, they felt that it has a din of a Birchas Haidah. Why? Who is that? The Rashba. The only question is, don't we try to satisfy the Rosh as well? And that's why the Beis Yosef, in the end of Siman Dalid, he quotes the Kolboy and the Tashbitz, but he says, but in Svard, we are makbid to make it right after you wash. And what's interesting is he quotes in Beis Yosef and Simon Vav, he quotes his great Rebbe, the Maria Abu Hav, that has a strong taina. How could you wait till you get to shul? It has to be, Birchas HaMitzvah has to be oival asiyasan. So better wash in your house with wet hands, make the bracha. But to wait till you get to shul, it's like someone that shakes lulav in the house, in a sukkah before davening, and he makes the bracha before halal. What are you doing? So the Beis Yosef's Rabbi Abu Hav held you can't wait till later. But then he has a limud chus, a very unique limud chus. So the Beis Yosef, when did they make the Birchas HaShachar? Right after it happened. But for some reason, we changed that. And we decided to make it a Birchas Haidah and do it in shul. So at that point, they also said, Birchas Yodayim, you could say this, you have the same leeway. Even though it should be said right away, wait till you get to shul. Very big chiddush. But they sort of re-identified Birchas as a Birchas Haidah. And Birchas Haidah we say in shul, not when you do it. So you can say in this time also in shul. Now what's interesting, he mentions the Maril. Now we have the Maril in the Chadoshay Siman Aleph. The Maril is Avi Menig Ashkenaz. The Shoyal asked him about when to say Birchas Yodayim by a day of Slichas. Don't forget, you wake up very early, you have a long Slichas, and then you start davening. So the Shoyal felt that you have to say it right away, because you can't say it in shul. So the Maril was very critical of that. He says, you're questioning Minig Ashkenaz. He says, Eine element atmiyim, umeshana minig kadmoinim, and you are a gaiva, you're being moitzi laz on the Rishonim. Now, don't forget, the Maril was Avi Minig Ashkenaz. He defended Minig Ashkenaz. But his main point is that the Minig Ashkenaz is to treat Netilas Yodayim like a Birchas Haidah. So what's wrong with saying in the shul? Wake up, say Slichas, and then when you start to daven, you'll say Netilas Yodayim. Now, but Lamaisa, he does have a moirdik idea. And he says, but typically, after Slichas, before you start to daven, you go to the bathroom. Oh, that Netila could be the Netila that you make the bracha on. Because that Netila in shul before Shachris is leading up to Shachris. So make a bracha on that. That's the Maril's patent, so to speak, that you could salvage the situation. But Lamaisa, the Maril, seems pretty confident you could make the bracha in shul. Now, after the Beis Yosef quotes this Maril, he says, but the Ogur says, if you do it right away, you're better off. Now, here you see something unique. The Beis Yosef, Paskins, like the Minig, of course, because he was Sephardi, to make the bracha right away. The Ramon Darkei Moshe, his notes on the Beis Yosef, he says, but the Minig Ashkenazim is not like the Beis Yosef, and we make it in shul. But listen, how he crosses party lines. Vani ba'atzmi noye keminig b'nei Svard. I became a Svardi for this. How could you make it in shul? I make it in the house, right away. Now, he didn't criticize the Minig Ashkenazim, or else he would get the Maril sack. But he did say, I do like the Svardim. So how do we paskin? So in Sivav, in Simon Vav Siv Beis, the Shulchan Aruch says that some wait until they get to shul, but Svardim we do it right away. The Ramah says nothing. Mr. Brewer says Askamas Achroinim to do like Anshe Svarad, to try to say it right after you wash. So I ask you, isn't it true what I said? Every shaila, as we'll see, is il basatayim. The simple question, when to make the bracha, if you hold the birchas mitzvah, nothing to talk about. You got to do like a Svardi. If you want to say it's a new type of birchas haidah, and we make that in shul, that seems to be the minig of many Ashkenazim. Although Mr. Brewer's lashon in Sifkat and Tes and Semin Vav, haskamas achroinim linoi ka'anshe Svarad shlei lahafsel v'chatchila. So this is that shaila. Now let me give you another beautiful shaila to get to many Heilig that are sitting right over here. Many people wake up in the morning, early morning, and they have a long seder, and then they daven. Now, let's say you wake up 5 o'clock, and you daven, whatever you learn, and you daven 6:30, 7 o'clock. But there's a break from Negelvasa to davening. When should you be saying Netilas Yodayim every morning? So the emphasis for Sfardi, there's no Shaila. You wash your hands in that home. Now, today we don't make the bracha by Negel Vasa, but after the Beis HaKisei, when you're all fully dressed, your hands are clean, you make the bracha then. Our question is for Ashkenazim. So listen to a beautiful info. Because typically many people, I'm not saying all, but many people, they learn, they have a coffee, and then before davening, they go out to the bathroom again. So, says the Chai Adam, now the Chai Adam, I'm not talking about this case, but in Klal Zayin, Sivav, Chai Adam says the following. Really, we should make the bracha until Sedayim by wash negavas, if you have a guf naki. And why do we wait until after we go to the bathroom? Because Lamaisa, that the teal that we make after the bathroom is going into davening. So you're allowed to do that. In other words, you make a bracha on the netila that leads into davening. Why? Because I want to do it like the Rosh and like the Rashba. Like the Rashba, there's no rush. But like the Rosh, you have to do it as soon as possible. So the Chai Adam says, if you have a second netila that leads into davening, do it then. Comes again the Bialacha in our Simon in Simon Dalit, and he says, maybe we'll use that to go a step further. You woke up 5 o'clock, and you washed your hands, and your hands are clean. You go to learn, you have clean hands. But since before davening Shachris, you're going to go out to the bathroom again and wash your hands again, which Netilas Yodayim will prepare you for davening? Like the Rosh? Second one. So, like the Rosh, we want to have a Birchas HaMitzvah and make the Bracha Samach LaMitzvah. When is your Birchas HaMitzvah? When is your mitzvah before davening? At 7 o'clock. So therefore, says the Mishnah Bialacha, you could tack away till you finish learning. Then you go to the bathroom, come out, your hands are dirty, you have to wash again. So you're making a Birchas HaMitzvah on that netila that leads into davening. Okay, it's very convenient. Because that netila leads into davening. So he says it's based on the Chai Adam. But then he says, but I have a big problem with that. You're satisfying the Rosh, even though we don't pass like the Rosh. But you're ignoring the Rashba. Why ignoring the Rashba? Because the Rashba holds it's a Birchas Haidah that you make in the morning. This is not the morning, you woke up 2 hours ago. So how could I do that? You satisfy the Rosh, but we pass like the Rashba, and you're missing the Rashba. Says the Berlach, that's not a problem. Because we just saw from the Beis Yosef that we treat that according to the Rashba, you're allowed to delay the Birchas HaShachar. So he says, and plus, I found the Maiserav, the Gra, in Simon Gimel that we mentioned earlier, that the Gra says that 3 times a day before davening, you have to make a bracha. So therefore, the best eights of those that have a break in between waking up and davening would be to wash again after the bathroom before davening, make the bracha right then and there with wet hands if you want to make it even better, and you yaitze both shitas. Now I did see in the Hilchas Yom Yom, that's our Moshe Mordechai Kap, Amud Kuf Yud, he has a very stark attain. What's the Bialacha's problem? He has a problem like the Rashba. It's not even a problem like the Rashba. Because as we proved from many Achronim, the Rashba holds that the Birchas does made leads into davening. So we don't have to come on to Svaras that you push it off. This is the right time to make it. And that's taka why many people have this meaning on a daily basis. They wake up, they don't see Netilas Yodayim. Of course, they say Ashiyotza. Don't forget that you have to say. If you went to the bathroom at 5 o'clock, you say. When you come to daven at 7, and you go to the Beis HaKisei, you say Netilas Yodayim and Ashiyotza, just like the Siddur says it, and Elkai Neshama to make it Smucha L'Chaveret as well. Shlomo Zalman L'Chashleim and Beis Chav Gimel also had that minig. Now, Lamaisa, Chassidim B'derech Klal don't seem to follow this minig, because they go with the simple understanding of this of Anshe Svara, which is Mekubalim, that the bracha belongs in the morning. The Knei Boisim in Chelik Beis Sim Gimel, a beautiful tshuva, very thorough tshuva. He says that how could you, according to the Rashba, you're not yet to the Rashba, you make it in the morning and you push it off much later. He says the Chai Adam said you could do that. The Chayot doesn't say you can do that. Chayodim says that if you go, wake up, wash negavasa, and go to the bathroom right away, then after right away going to the bathroom, you can make the Netilas Yodayim. But who said you could push off the bracha that you say in the morning that you have a new lease on life for 2 hours? That doesn't say in the Chayodim, that's the Bialachas Chiddush. But his feeling is it's better to say it close to waking up. So that will explain the 2 minhagim that we have every morning. In other words, my shaila, when I woke up early morning and I first davened a few hours later, those that learn every morning, wake up and they learn and they daven later, slichos, people wake up early and daven later, these 3 questions are totally in this shaila. The bi'alacha, based on a chayodam, Mr. Bura endorses that bi'alacha, Mr. Zalman does. If you know you can go to the bathroom before davening, wait for the bracha until after you wash your hands in the basic kisei, you're making a bracha on this Netilah leads into davening. Those that Anshe Svarad, and again, the Chassidim typically, because Mekabalim also go with this, it has to be in the morning regardless, would make the bracha in the morning, even though there's a long break until davening. What's the hachra? I'll tell you a beautiful hachra in the Sefer Maisa Ish from the Heilige Chazon Ish, Chelik Gimel, Amud Kuf Yud Zayin. Someone asked him this question and he answered on the spot. Tasa eich she'at roitze kishneim toiv. They're both, as we said, they're both very convincing. It's a very good hachra. Now, for those that wake up in the morning, go to the bathroom, then go to the mikveh, and then come out and make the brachas, then you have the same halacha. Because after the mikveh, you have to wash again. So this is the Netilah in the morning that is leading into your davening. Now, interesting question. Let's say someone learns on a daily basis. He learns his hour and a half. He either doesn't drink a coffee, whatever, but his system is he doesn't have to go to the bathroom again before davening. When should he make Netilas Yodayim? So it's up to the Oz Nidbru in Chelik Yudalat Simon Chavav. This fellow certainly has to make it in the morning. He can't make it for davening. It makes no sense. He washed in the morning. He's davening later. So for him, all agree he has to make it in the morning. Don't wait for after davening. Question. Then the Geya to Bnei Yeshiva on a daily basis. Bnei Yeshiva have many wonderful miles. Let me tell you, I'm with them all day and night. But they're not into getting up so early in the morning. So there's no learning, from at least a lot of them, before davening. Got to do, but in the yeshivas it's not so much done. So typically they wake up in the morning, okay, they wash their gavas by the bed, then they go to the bathroom, and then they're going to go right to davening. If you have a dorm in the same building, it could be a minute later. So when someone wakes up, washes, and davens right away, no long traveling or hefsik, right then and there. When do you make Netilas Yodayim? So again, Lamaisa, this l'chayra al pi seichel, there's no reason to wait to get to shul. You woke up in the morning, and after you wash your hands, and if you want to do it really good, keep your hands wet, make the bracha on Netilas Yodayim. You have it oivel asiyasam. You have it light the rush, 100% perfect. Light the rashba, it's perfect also. So you don't lose by saying it in the dorm room or at home versus saying it in yeshiva. So you have Birchas HaMitzvahs, Birchas HaIdah in the perfectly proper time. You're doing like the Gemara says, Ki Moshe Yodayim Mevarach. Now, Enochanami, we were Malamet Schus on Minig Ashkenaz, you're allowed to wait. Allowed to wait. And I'm not doubting Minig Ashkenaz, I don't want to get the psak of the Maril. But if you could do it right, why not do it right in the holidays? And Tak in the Sefer Das Noita, that's very reliable, Grad Chaim Kanievsky Psakim, done over by his son. He has a few chuvas, one after the other, Simon Reish Samach Dalet, and on. He says, the best way to do it, he asked me, right after you wash, after the Beis HaKisei. If someone wakes up in the morning and he doesn't have to go to Beis HaKisei, do it by the Negavasa, by the bed, if it's a Guf Naki. But again, we're not questioning Minig Ashkenaz. But this, you satisfy both opinions, and you don't lose, you only gains. And if you want to be really convinced, there's a Heilig Sefer, the Shloh Emik Bracha. So in Birchas HaShachar, Simon Zayin has a long shtickle, keep you busy a while, and Imamish doesn't understand why people don't make it right away. So maybe a little dibur is not a hefsik, and maybe a dvar mitzvah not a hefsik, and a lich not a hefsik, but why not do it right away? and he throws in b'soich his long shmooze, take care from the Netilah bracha. In other words, you could justify that if you have to talk, your mother asks you a question, you have to answer. All these things you could justify, but do it right. And he's followed by the Netilah David in Siman Vav, Sif Kat and Aleph, that avad, if you have the option of doing it right away, do it right away. So till I get to yeshiva or to the Beis Medrash or the shul is 5 minutes, fine. But why wait 5 minutes? Especially if you do it at home, you can have wet hands. But I must tell you, many people wait till they get to shul. Maybe they follow the Siddur. But the Stipler, the Chaim's father, don't forget, in Orchos Rabbeinu Aleph Yudalid, they say there when he would wake up and not learn for a long time, he would wash at home and say the brachas in shul a little while later. He wasn't makbid to say it at home. Rav Sternbuch and Chayil Gimel Siman Aleph. Evidently, this is following Minig B'nai Ashkenaz, that for some reason it should be said in shul. I'm not sure why. Maybe I could say because, in the Kohen in Beis Hamikdash, so we're in our Beis Hamikdash, this Beis Medrash. I'm not sure. I can say one thing. If anybody knows more than what I told you, I'd love to hear. I did see in that Das Night, in the bottom he quotes a Birchas Avram. I don't have that. That's a contemporary of the Beis Yosef, who has a reason, but I don't know what the reason is, Dafkin Beis Medrash. But l'chayr le'eis ata, if someone would ask me what to do, Taka, I used to say it in Beis Medrash, then I Taka start saying it at home. Because you don't lose by saying it right after you wash, after the bathroom, with wet hands, so you had alamailis without any shaila whatsoever. Oh, I'm going to get to that soon, yes. Now, in fact, I even declared, let's say a person is in his bungalow colony, and he puts on tefillin in his bungalow, and he goes to shul with tefillin, like I say in Shulchan Aruch. When does Netilas Yodayim? Before Anachas tefillin or afterwards? So some have a nice minig to say Berachas Shacha in tefillin. But here, it makes sense to say it right away, before tefillin. And Taka Reb Chaim Kanievsky, in one of those tshuvas in Das Noita, says, say it as soon as you can after washing. Now, Rav Shterbuch and Chayla Gimel, Siman Aleph, he has a chap, Divrei Chacham Chaim. He says that maybe it's not a problem putting on tefillin and saying it afterwards. Why? For those that after they put on tefillin, they wash their hands because they touched either the skin or their hair. So which Netilah is allowing them to daven? After tefillin. Oh, so then you could wash after tefillin and then make the brach on that. But as I told you in Das Noita, in Siman Reish Sadik Daled, Reb Chaim says, say it right away, even before Hanachas Tefillin. Now, question, if someone Taka woke up very early and woke up before Chatzos, those that, I'm going to get to, wait, I'm going in order. Before Chatzos, taking Chatzos, yeah, people do that. And he's up for the night. Can he make the brach of Netilas Yodayim before Chatzos? So the chayra zil basa taima, why not? If he's up for the morning, if he's leading into his davening, this is night sleep, he's not sleeping again. And taka, there are paiskim that hold what's wrong before chatzos. There is the das night the quotes and afikim maginim that says no, before chatzos is still the old day. But lamaisa, that is a machlokes. The paiskim suggest that either hearing the Netilas Yodayim in the morning from someone else, when the morning comes, or especially if you wake up before chatzos, till you get to davening and you have to go to the bathroom again, then you make the bracha, and then when you go to the bathroom in the morning. But everybody agrees, Rabbi, say, if you wake up after chatzos, even before alois, even though it's not yet zman shachris, but this is a netilah, that's machshir the shachris. And to my knowledge, no one has a suffix. After chatzos, before alois, the bracha could be said like we said until now. Question for every single day. You wake up in the morning, whenever you say it, you're doing great. Question is, what kavanah do you have when you make the bracha until Netilas Yodayim in the morning? I'm not talking about kavanah sari. Simple kavanah. So the answer is, why not have in mind both? The Rosh's reason, hachana for davening. The Rashba's reason, a new day. They say there's a person was by a chassan, a big alumnus fellow, and the way they asked him, sir, what would you like? Would you like beef or chicken? So he's allowed, he goes, ich sehe kan stira. So here also, I don't see a stira. So you can say, I'm buying both. Even though we paskin like the Rashba, but the Rosh is the Rosh. I have in mind Ruach Ra also. So that the Aruch HaShulchan says, no one holds you make a bracha on Ruach Ra To say from sakana, we don't make a bracha like we don't do on negava, on ma'im rechayim. Okay, question.
This should be that before slichus, that's also davening.
Oh, it's not Shemay Nestor V'Yamelech. No. Lamaisa, you see from the Gemara like that. Birchas HaShachar, they were allowed to say before washing. Slicha is not Lefnei HaMelech. Okay. Question. A person that goes to the bathroom, like we said in the morning, and then he makes it after the bathroom, right when he wakes up. What's the order of the two brachas? Because now we have Ashiyatza and Netilas Yodayim. So the MS is, for us it's Pashut, Zil Basatayim. Ashiyatza is a Birchas Haidah that should be said right away, but it's not Mamish, Ma'akiv to right away. The Netilas Yodayim, like many Shittas, is a Birchas HaMitzvah. And Taka, like the Siddur, the Paisik Achron has it, Netilas Yodayim first, and then Ashiyatza. Next question, Negeya, to every person, every single day. And that is there an inyan after you wash negavas, or whatever your negavas is, by the bed, after the mikveh, after the bathroom, whenever it is, to keep the hands wet until you at least start making the bracha until Netilas Yodayim. So until today, before I learned this sugya, I never thought of this, but the emes is, now we know Zil Basatayim. Since, as we said, we try to make it oivel asiyas like every other birchas, hamitzvahs like the Rosh, there's a good reason not to dry your hands until after you make the bracha. But like the Rashba, that has nothing to do with birchas hamitzvahs, why have wet hands? But at least we could say there's a good reason, if you want to satisfy the Rosh, to keep the hands wet. Who says this? Not me. The Rabbeinu Yoina on our Gemara in Brachas of Samach Hamid Beis, the Radvaz and Aleph Reish Chabeis. A beautiful discussion, the Malbim and Arz Chayim, Dalet Aleph. He says it's kedai, when possible, to not to dry your hands, keep it wet. Now, even though we don't like making brachas with wet hands because that's a lack of nekiyas, like we know typically, but we do that by Netilas Yodayim for bread, to sort of make it a oivel asiyasam. Here too, according to the Rosh, that's the way to do it. The Rabbi Yoim Tes Pehei says, especially like the Rambam and his son Ravram, that after oivel asiyasam, you're not allowed to make the bracha anymore. So it could be if your hands are dry like the Rambam, you can make the bracha Netilas Yodayim in the morning. So definitely Sfardim and many Ashkenazim are makbid. Now the truth Mr. Brewer mentions is you could make the brachas with wet hands. This is based on the Magen Avram. But now at least you see where we're coming from. What I found beautiful, the Machzik Bracha, the Chidah, and the Shari Tshuva quotes him, he says, Al Pi Kabbalah, don't make the bracha with wet hands. Why? Because the Ruach Ra does not go away if you have the Tila water on your hands. So you dafka have to dry your hands. However, for us, we could say it's not a steer at our minig, and shtei tshuas b'dava. First of all, as the Kaf HaChaim already points out, for those that wash a fourth time, you get rid of the water that's tummy. But more so, everybody used to make a pash to cheshbon. He was talking when the water was water of Ruach Ra. In those days, they woke up and they washed by the bed, and they had a guf naki, they made the bracha by the bed. Then the water has Ruach Ra. We typically wash by the bed and wash a second time after the bathroom. That doesn't have the Ruach Ra of the morning. So even like the Mekubalim, today we could say there is a Maila to make the bracha with wet hands. Now another point I wanted to mention, and that is which is Negeya for all of us, at least half of all of us, and that is an Isha, who for whatever reason will not be davening Shachris. The Moshe, an Isha that's busy with her children. So she does like the Magen Avram and our Babas did. They yoytzu with a tefillah k'tzara, they're davening, and that's it. In other words, Rabbi Yakov said, say Birchas HaShachar, Birchas HaTorah, beautiful brachas, tefillahs, haidah. The question is, an Isha that is an oynis cannot daven Shachris, but is yoytzu with a tefillah k'tzara. Do they make the bracha until Netilas Yodayim in the morning? Or, Leilenu Achayil, who can't daven Shachris, he can make a tefillah k'tzara, but that's it. Until today, we'd say, what's the shayla? But they're not Yidden. But now we'll say Zil Basatayim. Zok de Machzel Yo in Chelik Aleph Siman Yud Aleph. He says, Mamanashach, you can't make a bracha. Loi mi boy light the Rosh that it's a birchas mitzvahs to lead into davening. If there's no davening, there's no Shmei Esra, there's no bracha. But even like the Rashba, like we said, the Rashba holds it's a Ivda Nechana to go into the new day of Avodas Hashem for davening. So without davening, you can't make it till Yodayim. And this is what he says. And I saw the Sefer Ma'or Yeshenim, we got it before the Machzor, he speaks about a chayla that can't daven. If you're not davening Shemay Nesra, or minimally Krishma, like the Machzor points out, because the lashon of the Rosh is Krishma Utfila, then you don't make it till Yodayim. It's a birchas that leads into a davening, or better yet, leads into the Fnei HaMelech. Now, someone asked Chaim Kanievsky, but 1 second. But Lamaisa, don't we know that Nashim are yoytza tefillah with that tefillah k'tzara? So let it be that the bracha is going on their tefillah. The answer is beautiful. The yoytza tefillah, but you can't make it into Lifnei HaMelech. So that's why I did see most paiskim, many paiskim say, if there's no Shmei Nesra or Krishma, there's no until Yodayim. The Rav Sterbuch and Chelik Aleph Siman Hey and the Isha Yisrael Beis Had the Gimel seem to say that since Lamaisa the Yoitza they're abridged davening, they're allowed to make it till Yodayim. But a it's a Chiddush and maybe Al Safek Bracha, they should not see it till Yodayim. A beautiful Shaila, someone whose minig is he gets up every morning and before davening he goes to the bathroom again and he makes the brachas in the morning before davening. One morning he got very involved in his learning and he forgot to make it till Yodayim. Now he's holding after Shmay Nesra, Shachris, he chapped, I didn't make my bracha till Yodayim. What does he do? What does he do? He can make a bracha Shach Kol Hayom, right? So the Chayodam, not at all. Loi mi boy light the Rosh, that the bracha is an achana for davening, it's too late. But even like the Rashba, and here's what I told you earlier, even like the Rashba, it's a Berchas Haidah in the new morning, but it's very connected to Shachris. And after Shachris, of his man batal kavanah. So here you see lahalacha, that even like the Rashba, it's very much connected to davening. Now wait a second. Say, 1 second, I'm not intimidated. So you miss Shachris, make Mincha Ma'ariv. Who says that besides me? The Chayodam. He says, but we have an Eitzah, because Lishitas Rosh and the Gra, that you make a bracha Mincha Ma'ariv, it's not lost. Well, but that leaves us at a problem, because our minig, at least if you're not minig Gra, we don't make a Mincha Ma'ariv. So, but I'll tell you a few interesting tidbits. Let's say the fellow remembered that he didn't make the bracha in Milap Sukkah de Zimra. So that's okay. Put it in Milap Sukkah de Zimra, like many people do when the time gets late. They put on tefillin in between Yishtabach and Yoitza. So the Eitzvi to say the Al Tis Yodayim after Yishtabach, before Baruch Hu, before you start Birchas Krishma. If someone remember he didn't say the Al Tis Yodayim until after he started Birchas Krishma, then he's in trouble. And it's probably totally in the old Shaila, if you hear thunder or see lightning during Birchas Krishma, should you say Mitzvah Iveris, you got to say it, or what do you mean? Don't say it. And Takas Machloikis HaPoyes got to be that, and that would, I think it's totally here as well. But I'll tell you something, and here we chop this fellow. Let's say he forgot to say the bracha, he's already holding after Shmei Nesra, but it's Rish Chodesh. So the question is, could he say it was dying before Musaf? So I first thought, what do you mean Musaf? Musaf is not Shachris, like Mincha Ma'ariv. It's not true. Ken Zayin, that the point is that we say you can make a bracha in the morning on the tefillah you say in the morning. That's why we don't make for Mincha Ma'ariv, but we make for Shachris. Ken Zayin that Musaf, even though Musaf is Mana Kol Hayom, but when do we say Musaf? In the morning. So I found the Sefer Leket Kamach Chodesh Kuf Chav Chesiv Kat Nun. He says you're allowed to say it before Musaf, even though it's in a certain sense it's Kol Hayom, but it's done during Shachris. So it's once a day in the morning, and here you beat the system, and you could say it. Now, question: let's say someone's minig is like the minig Ashkenaz. He makes the brachis taka in the morning, right away, but he forgot, and now he's in the middle of learning. I had to make the brachis Yodayim. What does he do? So the Knei Boisim that I mentioned in Sif Cotton Gimel, even though he holds you have to make it first thing in the morning, he says, but 1 second, you're going to make it now as no pshat. At least wait a few more minutes till before Shachris, so you'll have the shita of those that hold you make it before davening. You know, even then, that's the right way to do things. Question, a person is up a whole night, whether it's Leil Shishi or Shavivim or whatever, Shana Rabbah, the kids is up all night. And now comes the morning, does he make Al Netilas Yodayim? So this is a perfect Zil Basa time. Light the rush that the Chiv is because Yodayim Askani is when he sleeps. There's no Shach, he didn't sleep. The question is like the Rajba. The Rajba is Machadish, it's a Birchas Haidah. On a new morning, what makes it a new morning? Is the sleep into the new morning? Maybe a new morning is a new day. So this is a suffix in what the Rajba held. But the Paiskim say, and Beis Yosef says this by us in the Siman Dalid, maybe like the Rajba is a light plug. That every morning, Beri Chadash, you say whether you slept or not. So Aybazai, L'chayra, L'didan, that we pass in light the Rajba, you can make a bracha in the morning. Yet the Beis Yosef feels that since Lamaisa light the Rosh, there's no such bracha, because you didn't sleep, Safek brachas lahakol, you must wash without a bracha. Now, even though the question of Ruach Ra, does it apply or not? That's questionable. And the answer probably is, if the Ruach Ra of the Zoy of sleeping, there's no sleeping. But the Ruach Ra of night versus morning is. But Ruach Ra is never Machayva bracha. So that's why the Minig Yisrael and the Shulchan Aruch and Sif Yud Gimel of Siman Dalid, the Mechaber says you woke up a whole night, you have a suffix, if a bracha is said, but you better wash. And the Ramah says, the Minig is, we wash without a bracha. But here I'll tell you another Zil Basa time. The Minig HaOlam, those that stay up on Shavuos night, whenever they stay up, is that if we don't make the Birchas HaTorah, we have someone else being Moitzias. The Mishnah Berurah by us, in Sif Kat, on this Tak, on this Sif, and in Tov Tzadik Dalet Aleph, quotes from a number of Achronim, Vaylas Tamil, Al Yerab, and others, that if before davening Shavuos morning, those that daven right away, Vesikin, you go to the Beis HaKisei, and then you come out, you have to wash your hands, you could make your own Netilas Yodayim, because you touch the Makom Mechusa. That's the minig, I think the minig Yisrael. Mr. Berurah says a very strong lashon. He says, when I learned the sugya, I realized not so pashut. The Maimon Mordechai in Sivkot and Ches has a big kasha. He says, at most, what are you gaining? Only light the Rosh. What about light the Rajba? It's still the same suffix. And more so, maybe only a person that, maybe the sleep was Mechayiv the bracha. Who said touching a Makom Mechus is Mechayiv the bracha in the morning? And the Kavachayim and Sivkat Memtes quotes this. But evidently the Yisvara is that Lamaisa, it's a new day, and you have Dayim that are dirty, and that's why the minig is taka, if you do go to the bathroom, you could make the bracha after you wash, and it was Dayim and Hashiyot. Question, someone stayed up all night, but he's going to daven Shacharis later. Like many Chassidim go, they daven Shavuos morning, you go and you daven your regular time. When do you make it till Sedayim? When you go to sleep, you don't make it till Sedayim. Makes no sense. So the answer is Pashut, Zil Basatayim. Go to sleep because it's into hate. You wake up for Shacharis, the Manashach make a bracha. Light the Rosh for davening. The Rosh holds on Sheinis Kvar, you make a bracha by Yom. And like the Rajba, this is your Beri Chadash after sleeping, and you're going into a Shacharis. And Takad Machzal Yo says this in Chelik Aleph Siman Dalet, as the Birchas Habayis Lamed Beis Hey. Next question, someone that stayed up a whole night and he's davening Vesikin. So he heard the bracha from someone else who made his own bracha. Now, he went to sleep, he woke up a few hours later, so he thinks they make another bracha? Avada not. But let's say in the morning he didn't make a Netilas Yodayim. He missed the other fellow, and he didn't make Netilas Yodayim. So he davened, not Netilas Yodayim. What can you do? Then he went to sleep, woke up, does he make Netilas Yodayim then? The answer is, we would say Manashach, yeah, but the answer is Manashach, not. Light the Rosh, you're waking up for a Suda. There's no bracha for a Suda. Like the Rajba, that it's a Beri Chadash sleeping, but it's only for davening. And now it's Batal Kabbanah. When someone travels at night by plane or bus, he would love to fall asleep, but sleeping in a sitting position, whatever it is. So he tries to fall asleep, he sleeps a little bit, nim v'lay nim, can he make the brachas after he gives up atkan? I slept enough, atkan. He wakes up, whatever, 4 o'clock, whatever it is. In other words, how much of a night's sleep is mechayev the bracha? Now, I'm not talking about someone that falls asleep, I'm talking about he tries to make it a kvav, but whatever goes, goes. So the poskim say you don't have to be in pajamas to make it a night's sleep. If this is your night's sleep, it's enough. How long is enough? So that the poskim, the Gemara says, actually, shit nishman. Either 3 hours, a half hour, or 3 minutes. The poskim say, Lagabi, this sugya, a half hour, you could be saying behind a half hour. You don't need 3 hours. I saw the number of poskim. So that makes sense. If you try to sleep and you slept at least a half hour, so you have all of this year is negayah to you. And I'll leave you with 3 around the year questions, interesting questions. Sukkos, Purim, and Tainus. Listen to this shayla. Someone is sleeping in a sukkah when Sukkot is late and it's very cold, so he sleeps in his gloves in the sukkah. He wakes up in the morning, he has a shayla, does he make a Netilas Yodayim or not? So the answer, as you know, obviously, is Zil Basatayim, but why? Very pashut. Light the Rosh, he has no reason to make it to wash or make a bracha. But light the Rashba, very chadasha. I don't think it's totally in gloves or not. But the question is, can we take the liberty of making a bracha only like the Rashba, even though we paskin like the Rashba, but the Rosh is still on the map? So this is the Prima Godim suffix, not like Rabbi Sukkah, but he has it in the beginning, Sifkat and Aleph, both the Mishnah and the Eshel Avram. It's totally Rashba and Rosh, and he sends us to Prima Godim Sifkat and Tes. And listen to this, he says it's a Sveika de Dina, and you can't make a bracha. And as the Rosh is not Nitcha, the Rosh is on the map. And the Bialacha and Sif Yud Gimel, as the Merktzia, Artzis Chaim, Til David, all say the same psak. So you see that the Rosh at the end of the day is very much Lamaisa. Now, someone asked, what about Ruach Ra? Maybe just make a bracha on Ruach Ra. The answer, like I told you earlier, you never make a bracha on Ruach Ra. Question number 2, someone had too much to drink, or more than one, too much on Purim, and he fell asleep during the Suda. After the Suda, he slept in the night sleep, wherever he was sleeping. He woke up, Baruch Hashem, before Alois. And he was overjoyed, he didn't miss Ma'ariv, he could have Ma'ariv Chatchila, it's still before Alois. But he started scratching his head, this I never had before. So I'm making a Netilas Yodayim now before Ma'ariv. That's a new one, right? If he's a Gronik, he's safe. So I told him that Lamaisa, if you're up for the night, you make it, l'chol days, you make it right now. It's a new day, you're starting after sleeping, and it's not dafka shachris versus ma'ariv, it's just heichatimts in the morning. So you can make it definitely l'chol days, and that will go for shachris as well. And I'll leave you with a hilchas tainus shayla. Someone woke up in advance of the tainus, half hour before the zman. He wanted to eat, but he wanted to do it right. He had a suda with pas. So he washed, made a Netilas Yodayim, made a mitzvah, he benched, they finished on time, and now he started thinking, I made a Netilas Yodayim after I woke up, I'm up for the morning. Does the Netilas Yodayim on the bread help me for the Netilas Yodayim on the davening? So you say no, but the Paiskim say the Pischei Tshuva Isel, in the original Pischei Tshuva, in Siman Dalet, he says, it's the same nusach, and more so, he says, a beautiful ha'ara, the Gemara says you could wash once and keep it the whole day. There's different type of netilas. Evidently, if it's a netila that is metayar the hands, it's enough. So it seems pashut, especially if he has mind to be moitzi, yotzei avada. But Takas Reb Chaim Kanievsky also says this, that the netila you make for the bread should go for the davening as well. A good talk to you all.
Shem Irgen Shir. I'd like to give a big yashakar to Smith for today's shir. Today's shir was dedicated to the Nishmas of Shmuel ben Rav Ruven, Zon of Rocha, father of esteemed board members of Ruven and Rav Moshe Wolf, Sheyichyu. To have the great schus of sponsoring a shir called Irgen Shir, Terra 718-851-8651. Anja ben Akasha, Motsa Kodesh Baruch Hu, Lazakis, it's a shel of Hibun, and Tarmish, Shanam, Adonai, Chofes, and Mansilke. Together.
Yisador Visala Visala, Shmei Shor Berechu, Eilom Gamoso, Vitroso, Tijuaso, Nahamoso, Ramiram Yamo, Vimram, Ali Shoya, Varamuna, Tamia, Kol, Tamia, Samilia, and Ramono, Parai, Sivas, Yoma, Sarvas, Asad, Yekohon, Shura, Mura, Ezo, again. Desire to be carried before the Kurban, Mishmai, Varom, Neshmura, Mishmai, Yokan, Molani, Israel, and Rome. Oise, Shulan, Lemon, Ibrahim, Yasu, Shulan, Israel, and Rome.
Okay, the Rav didn't cover Netilas Yodayim if you fell asleep during the shir. Maybe it'll be a different shir. Meanwhile, the early Netilas Yodayim questions. Sikkim.
Okay, first what we see today, I think it's clear, as we see how beautiful Torah we have. I couldn't believe it. It's on Kol Kites, Tili Tilim, Shalachis, but they're all Negeya. But basically, the Netilas Yodayim in the morning has two reasons. And basically, the main reason is the Rashbas that the Paiskim Paskin, that it's a Beria Chadasha, it's a schus that we're able to do Avodas Hashem, but it expresses itself in the davening. It's very much related to the davening. And like the Rosh, it's a Birchas HaMitzvah, the Chiyuv of washing for all of davening, Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv. So that will be two different reasons, either Birchas Haidah or Birchas HaMitzvah. The best time to say it, so it's really totally in the two reasons, but some people say it right away, no matter what. The meaning of Svardim, many that follow the meaning, even Ashkenazim, like the Ramah, and Mekubalim, and those that go meaning Ashkenaz, might have a leeway to say it a little later, even if it's a long break. If there's a long break between the waking up and the davening, by learning, and the Netilas Yodayim after going to the bathroom, that's a very good reason to say the bracha then, because it leads into the davening. And even like the Rashba. If someone travels before Shachris or Slichas before Shachris, all these cases, it's the same attitude. Some make it right away regardless, and some would wait till the Netila before davening. If there is no second Netila before davening, then it's Avada Kedai to make it right away. Right away means before drying one's hands, and you have the additional mile that you make it into an Oivel Asiyasan as well. When you put on tefillin, it's better to probably say it before you put on tefillin. After you wash your hands, at the time Ashiyatza, this way the hands are wet, and you can put on tefillin. When the bracha is said, the kavanah is both as a Birchas HaMitzvah and a Birchas Haidah. The order is Netilas Yodayim and then Ashiyatza. Wet hands, again, is a mila. I'm not saying it's ma'akiv, avad like the Raj, but there's no havamina to have wet hands. It's really only to be yaitz the Rosh. An Isha or Chayil who will not be davening Krishma or Shachis should probably not say Netilas Yodayim bracha. The person forgot to say it until after Shmai Nesra of Shachris, so he can't say it unless there's a Musaf. During Birchas Krishma, say it probably after Yishtabach. During Pesukei de Zimra, say it after Yishtabach. During Birchas Krishma, probably don't say it. Person's up all night, so then you wash in the morning, B'loi bracha. If you go to the Beis HaKisei, then eitz is to make Netilas Yodayim after washing at the Beis HaKisei. That's the Mishnah Berurah's eitza, although there are mafakbekin. When you go to sleep by Alois, you make Netilas Yodayim when you wake up in the morning, like you make all of brachas and Birchas HaTorah. If you go to sleep after davening, then the bracha is not said. A person who sleeps on a plane or a bus, whatever, and a shinas kva, his night sleep, but it's just a half hour or that amount is enough to make all the brachas. We said the three questions. If you sleep in gloves, it's you wash below bracha. You could make, if you woke up before Alois, and you wash for Meir, you make a bracha then, that goes for the Shachris. And if you ate bread and Netilas Yodayim, the bracha of Netilas Yodayim goes for the davening as well. Yes, Rabbeinu Hadayim.